Notice we left off with the 3D surface chart. I will click chart, and then I can click this icon right here. And these are all 3D charts. But I want surface, so I go to surface, and now I have a 3D surface chart of some prior data, it looks like, and I click OK. And notice I now have a 3D surface chart with the data plotted in Excel for me automatically. I will now exit out of this. And I will now delete this by clicking it once and pressing backspace. And I'll be deleting my icon as well by clicking once and pressing backspace. Next, take a screenshot of your prior work. Interesting. So I want to make sure you can see this. So I'm going to click here. I'm going to search screenshot. And notice I use the snipping tool. I click new, new, and I click and drag what I want to screenshot, and there's my screenshot right here. I'm now going to delete this because we do not need this. Do you want to save? No, but just so you know how to do it. Now I want to insert a link using the link icon. So let's bring you back up to the top here so you can see. So I'm going to insert a link. Now I need a web address. So I'm going to type www.luc.edu. Notice when I typed in www, the http:// appeared. That is to make it a valid website, and I'm going to press OK. And it looks like I had this highlighted when I did the links. Let me do Control Z real quick. And I'm going to insert a link right here by once again doing the exact same steps by clicking on the link icon, typing in www.luc.edu, and then press OK. And now my link has appeared. Create a comment that says, "This is my first grammatically correct comment in a Word document using only your left hand." So I'm going to highlight this line. I'm going to insert a comment right here. And I need it to say, in my left hand only, "This is my first grammatically correct comment in Word," using only your left hand, and then press enter, and now your comment is there. Use the header icon to add a header that says, "I know how to use Word." I'm going to now change this header to, "I know how to use Word." And I'm going to double click back on my body of text. And now that is my new header. Notice I'm just repeating a few things so you get used to it. Next, use the header column to add a 3-column header. In the 3 columns, type maroon, yellow, and white. So notice I double click in my header column. Now we're trying to figure out how to insert 3 different columns. Now this part is a little bit tricky. So once you are in your header column right here, you're going to find your header right here. And I want 3 blank columns right here. And notice I can type in right here, and I needed to say maroon, yellow, and white. And notice I now have 3 headers and 3 columns. Use the footer icon to use the banded format. So now I will scroll down, click in my header, highlight this right here, because we're not going to need this anymore, delete it. Now the banded icon. Now if we look up to the top and you're ever not sure where an icon is, safest thing you can do is go into the footer, and then there's banded. And notice banded comes up. I'm going to double click back in the Word document, continue. Insert a text box at the very bottom of this document once by clicking and dragging, and delete that once finished, and then make it appear at the bottom without clicking and dragging, only using the mouse location. So I'm going to press Enter, Insert. Now I want a text box, and I'm going to click Simple Text Box, and then I'm going to click on the line, drag it down, and now it is at the bottom of my page. I'm going to click it again, press backspace to delete it, and notice I pressed Enter 3 times. I can also click Insert, Text Box, Simple Text Box, and it shows up right at the bottom of the page again without me having to click and drag. I'm now going to click it and delete this. Next, type in that text box. This is me typing in my first Word text box using only your left hand and your thumb for the space bar. So I'm going to click at the bottom right here. I'm going to click Insert. I'm going to click Text Box, Simple Text Box. This is my first time typing in a Word text box. Notice I only use my left hand and my thumb for the space bar. You'll be able to type faster this way, and you will be able to become better at typing. I now scroll up to see what is next. Insert the date without typing it here. How do I do this? Well, if I click Insert maybe, and then I'm looking. Here's date and time. Notice I click OK, and there's the date, and I never even typed it. Insert the time with seconds without typing it here. Once again, date and time, the time, OK. Notice there's my timestamp. Save what you have done so far. Notice it says at the top, Final Word Review for Don. When I press Ctrl S, it now says Save to this PC. Next, save what you've done in the document as a PDF to your documents and show where that is again. We went over this once, but we'll go over this during our session. The comment that you made earlier, make another one on this word and type the same thing using only your left hand and resolve the comment. So I need to comment only on this word, insert, comment, and I believe we said this is my first comment. Will it do? And then I click there, but then to resolve it, see this word resolve right here. I click resolve, and now the comment is no longer highlighted. Next, adjust the margins to Office 2003 default. Well, this one's a tricky one. So maybe I go to View, and we look for margins. If it's not here, we would then go to Layout, click Margins, and then here we have Office 2003 Default, and notice it is thinking because we have the blue cursor, and now we have everything saved to Word 2003 Default. Do Ctrl Z to undo that action. Adjust the orientation to landscape. I click Orientation, and then I click Landscape, and now do you notice it has gotten wider, my page. To undo this, I go to Orientation, and then I click Portrait. And notice I'm now in Portrait, because there's my line right there, symbolizing an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. Next, click on the columns icon to adjust it to 2 different columns, and then undo this action. Here's the columns icon, and I want 2, and now everything that we've done so far has been split up into 2 columns. I'm now going to do Ctrl Z. Next, adjust the margin to 0.8. Here we are, 0.8, enter, and notice it moved it over 0.8. Ctrl Z. Manual adjust the margin to 0.2. That's what you would do right here. And then the left margin back to 0.5 and the right margin back to 0 where it already is. Use the ABC icon to check the document for spelling errors. Right here, you would click on the review, the ABC, and it will check for all spelling and grammar errors. Spelling, I click on it, and it looks like we have an issue with the superscript, I'm going to ignore once. And then once again, we have another error with the superscript, ignore once. I scroll back down to where we were in the document. And now I need to use a thesaurus to find a better word for good. Well, if I click the thesaurus icon in review, and I need to look for good. Enter. Decent. That will work for me. And now I can take good and type decent. Use the word count icon to see how many words are in a highlighted portion. So here's the word count. In this document, we have 4 pages, 885 words, 3,817 characters, 4,797 characters with spaces, 86 paragraphs, and 347 lines. But if I highlight this, and then I click word count, you can see words now only 67. Create a new document once in the Insert tab, once in the Review tab. On this line, type Word. Let me read that again, I apologize. Create a new document once in the Insert tab and once in the Review tab. On this line, on these words, Word, Word, and type the comment. This comment came from the Insert bar, and this comment came from the Review bar. So this is asking to take this word right here, and I'm going to go to the Insert, Comment. This comment came from the Insert bar, Enter. Then I'm going to use 2 fingers to slide back over, and then in this one right here, I'm going to Review, and then New Comment. This comment came from the Review bar. Notice you can add comments in 2 different spaces. Enter. Adjust your view to the side-to-side view. Believe we already did this, but we will do it one more time. So the side-to-side view will allow you, to basically go into read mode. And now you can read your document like this. I'm now going to click this document. That brings me to full screen, back to my toolbar. Notice I can go to File here, and I can still see everything. But then to get out of it, I can go to Print Layout, and I'm back. I exit out of my thesaurus and my editor. And now I need to adjust your review back to vertical, which we already did a little while ago. Zoom to 100%. Remember, that is right down here. And I can type it manually or click the button 100%. OK. Save. Notice at the top, tippy top, final review for final word review for Don. I do Control S, and then it shows it saved. And now I want you to redo this twice flawlessly. Hope this helped. Thank you.